Figurative speech plus samples from the words we have studied: the Black Cat, Ricky Tacky, Selfish Young, Gulliver's Travel, and others. The simile is a comparison using like or as. Simple model sentence is: her smile was like the sun. And the examples that I find in my readings: in Rikki Tikki Tavi, the muskrat moved like a little shadow. Compares movement to a shadow. In the Black Cat, the fire rose like a sheet of flame over the house. Metaphor. The metaphor is a comparison without using like or as. One thing is another. Simple modern sentence: his heart is a stone. The example that I find in my readings: in the selfish hymns, the garden was the hymn's heart. Symbolic, the garden reflects his emotions. In the Black Cat, the narrator calls alcohol the demon that destroyed him. Personification. Personification is giving human qualities to things that are not human. The simple modern sentence is: the wind whispered through the trees. Some examples that I find in my readings: in the selfish hymn, the trees were so happy to see the children that they covered themselves with blossom. We see that in that example that the tree are not the person. And here in this word, we see that the trees is used is where a person. In Rikki Tikki Tavi, the butchers chop themselves. And the next is hyperbole. The hyperbole is an exaggeration used for emphasis. A simple modern sentence is: waited a million years. It's an exaggeration, a million years, obviously. The example that I find in Gulliver's Travel: Gulliver described the Lilliputians in a exaggerated sense to create humor. In Rikki Tikki Tavi, not even dynamite could move the people. It's an exaggeration. The onomatopoeia, words that imitate sound. The simple modern sentence is: the snake hissed loudly. The example that I found in Rikki Tikki Tavi: the cobra often hiss in the story. And the other that I found in Black Cat is: the cat gives a loud crash inside the wall. Alliterations. The alliteration is the repetition of the same beginning sound. Simple modern sentence is: Peter Piper pick a pig. Example for my reading: in the hen selfish, and the children play in the prairie garden. In the Black Cat, his heavy hand held ringing. Repetition of age. The biography of Jonathan Swift's life. Jonathan Swift was an important Irish writer, famous for his powerful use of satire to criticize politics, society, and human behavior. He was born in Dublin, Ireland, but his life was difficult from the beginning because his father died before he was born. Because of this, he was raised by relatives and later studied at Trinity College, Dublin, where he developed a strong interest in reading, writing, in the world around him. As a young adult, Swift moved to England and worked as a secretary for an important diplomat. This job introduced him to political life and helped him meet many influential writers. During this time, he began writing works that mixed humor with criticism to express his idea. His style was unique. He used irony, exaggeration, and imaginary situations to show the problems in society. This style made him one of the most important satirists in English literature. Swift wrote many well-known works. Among the first were A Tale of a Tooth and The Battle of the Books, which attacked corruption in religions and defended classical learning. Later, he published his most famous book, Gulliver's Travels. Although many people read it as a simple adventure story, it is actually a deep satire about human nature, politics, and the foolishness of society. In addition to being a writer, Swift was also very active in the Anglican church. He eventually became the dean of St. Patrick's Cathedral in Dublin, a respected position he held for many years. Even while working in the church, he continued writing pamphlets and essays defending Irish rights and protesting unjust political policies. Later in life, Swift began to suffer from serious health problems, including dizziness, memory loss, and difficult hearing. Jonathan Swift left a powerful legacy. Today he is remembered as one of the greatest satirists of all times. The other author is Mary Shelley. Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley, August 30, 1797, London, England. She died on February 1, 1851 in London, England. Mary Shelley was an English novelist, best known as the author of the famous Gothic novel Frankenstein, or The Modern Prometheus, 1818. She was the daughter of two highly influential writers, William Godwin, a political philosopher, and Mary Wollstonecraft, a pioneer feminist and author of A Vindication of the Right of Women. Sadly, her mother died shortly after Mary's birth, leaving her to be raised by her father. Mary received an unusual and rich education for a woman of her time, being surrounded by her father's intellectual friends, including poets and philosophers. At the age of 16, she fell in love with the romantic poet Percy Bysshe Shelley, and they eloped to Europe in 1814. Despite his being marriage at the time, their life together was filled with passion, creativity, and tragedy as they lost several children and infancy. In 1816, the couple spent the summer near Lake Geneva, Switzerland, with the poet Lord Byron and other friends. During a stormy night, Byron suggests that each person write a ghost story. From that idea, Mary conceived the story that became Frankenstein. She was only 18 years old when she began writing it, and the novel was first published anonymously in 1818. It is now considered one of the earliest works of science fiction and a cornerstone of Gothic literature. After Percy Shelley's death in drowning accident in 1822, Mary returned to England and devoted herself to raising their only surviving child, Percy Florence Shelley, and to writing and editing her late husband's works. She also wrote several other novels, including The Last Man, Valperga, and Matilda. Mary Shelley died on February 1, 1851 at the age of 53. Her legacy endures through Frankenstein, a timeless exploration of human ambitions, scientific ethics, and the search for identity. Satire. Explain the satire display in Gulliver's briefly narrate the story and show satire instance in the novel. The brief narration of the story. Gulliver is shipwrecked after a storm and wakes up on the island of Lilliput, where the people are only 6 inches tall. That means that they are very tiny. At first, the Lilliputians tie him up because they are afraid of him. Later, when they realize he is peaceful, they give him food and gradually trust him. Gulliver becomes involved in their society and learns their custom. The emperor treats him as a valuable servant and asks him to help Lilliputians fight its enemy, Blackusful. Gulliver helps them, but soon the government becomes suspicious and jealous of him. Even though Gulliver saved them, the Lilliputian leaders accuse him of treason and plan to blind him. Gulliver escapes to Blefuscu, find a boat, and eventually return to England. The satire in political parties. The Lilliputians are divided into high hills and low hills, two groups that hate each other over tiny difference. And the satire swift much how political parties fight over trivial issues just like the English government did. The religious conflict and controversy. Lilliput and Blefuscu are at war because they disagree about which end of an egg to break the big end of the small end. The satire switch made fun of religious wars in Europe, showing how foolish it is to fight over a minor belief. Getting government jobs by three-step dancing. To get a positions in the government, candidates must then or jump on a tightrope to show their skill. The satire here switch criticizes how leaders often gain power through tricks, favoritism, or flattery, not intelligence or talent, like in the life, the real life. Human pride. Even though the Lilliputians are tiny, they think their nation is the greatest and most important in the world. The satire here is that switch show how humans exaggerate their importance and act proud over a small achievement. And finally, the corruption and injustice. The Lilliputian government punished people unfairly and even plans to blind Gulliver after he helped them. The satire here is the Swiss exposed the cruelty, selfishness, and dishonesty of political leaders.